back in studio. So we got the full house here ready to go and have a good time. And boy, does it come on the heels of a newsy weekend. It really all got started Friday night. I had the opportunity to attend this was not the news, but I had the opportunity to attend the Darius Rucker Southern State of Mind NIL gathering with Patrick Davis. Really neat event. And the new era of college athletics in terms of raising money, fundraising. Good job put on by everybody, whether it's Garnet Trust or the athletic department or Darius Rucker. Great time. Saw a lot of good people. Shane Beamer doing his best. You talk about the continued growth of a guy as a head coach. Shane Beamer was very, reserved is what I'll say. Sean Elliott, on the other hand.
Sean went for it.
Was having a good time.
Sean went for it. He's, man, talk about a fella that's glad to be home. He went for it. Absolutely.
The person not there, and now it explains why. Dowell Loggins, not in attendance.
Dowell, you coming to the concert?
I got to make a trip. That was interesting news as it broke throughout Saturday. Dowell Loggins named the head coach at Appalachian State. Congratulations to him, Preston Thorne. But I don't think we had that one on our bingo card, especially on Labor Day, much less even probably at the beginning of October.
Yeah, not even when the coach from App State got fired.
Yeah. We talked about you. What did you've always said? A butterfly flaps
his wings, and you never know. That's not what I anticipated, though.
That was obviously a huge surprise, and we'll get into that this morning and give our thoughts on that as Dowell Loggins moving on to Appalachian State, and what does it mean for the program, and what is it? Just, we might have to in the next segment ask, what was your shock factor? 1 to 5. 1, 2, 4, 5, something like that, because I feel like a lot of people thought that it was some kind of odd December Fool's trick that was being played on them by all of social media. So we'll get into that a little bit. Basketball picks up 2 nice victories over the weekend. Men's team had to do a little bit of work on Saturday. Did you get a chance? Did you navigate the streaming barnyard that is ESPN and all the great streaming apparatuses to find South Carolina, East Carolina basketball?
I did. I listened to a little bit of it, but I did not see it visually.
All right, they get a win. That's what they've got to do. They've got to win games. Right now, I quite frankly don't care if it's ugly, if it's beautiful. This team is still trying to figure a lot out. It looks like that's not the ideal scenario, but the key is winning, and they do that 75-68 on Saturday. Lamont Parrish's team picks up a victory, and again, that's the name of the game right now. Just win the ball game and then continue to learn and gel and come together before SEC play. They'll get the whole week off for exams, and then they'll be back in action next Saturday afternoon against USC Upstate. R.J. Felton making his return to his home state. Goes, I believe, he was at North Augusta. I believe he's from the state of South Carolina. Scored 15 points. That was the guy you had to watch out for. Came in averaging 20, but it was the combo of Jamari Thomas scoring 22 on 7 of 14 shooting, and Colin Murray Boyles with a perfect game, 10 of 10 from the field, 10 rebounds as well, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 22 points for Jamari Thomas, 20 points for Colin Murray Boyles.
Yeah, so it sounded like Jamari got his shot a little, is starting to find his stroke a little bit from the three-point area, and he's starting to hit his free throws, so that's something that seems important. I imagine as that continues to develop, the rest of the team will develop as they're still trying to find who they are and how they're going to play this year.
I will say at some point you are who you are. I don't know when we make that official declaration of this is just who they are. I don't know if it's too soon to do that. If we give them, till mid-January, maybe about a month from now when they've played a few conference games, but we are coming up on that period where you just go, okay, that's who you are. You are now who you are, and we just accept it. On the flip side of things, or on the other side of things, the women's team go out to TCU, and they smashed TCU. 85-52, the final there last night, showing off to Jeremiah Donati. This is who we are. We'll welcome you with open arms.
You made a good choice, sir. Good job. Good choice on it. Yeah, I did get a chance to watch that game. And, again, much like on the same vein as Lamont's team, I think Dawn is still trying to figure out what the rotations are, who the rotations are, who's going to be stepping up. But obviously they're winning in the meantime. But you can see things starting to play out this season. And that's why I think this season for them is going to be especially fun as a fan, because it's not the foregone conclusion that it's been in past years. You see a team gelling and trying to figure things out.
Malaysia Fulwiley, 20 points in 21 minutes of action yesterday. College football championship action, Preston Thorne. It was, well, thank you, Clemson and SMU, for making it not Georgia and Texas, Clemson, SMU. Thank you for not making it all that boring. James Franklin, thank you for confusing everybody on when and how to go for a 2-point conversion.
My guy.
Just James Franklin, then getting angry at the post-game press conference and calling it a JV-style setup. Yeah, by the way, it was another coaches gone crazy weekend. Kirby Smart just insulting Greg Sankey, with Greg Sankey being all of about 7 feet away. Kirby Smart, James Franklin tearing down the Big Ten press conference. But all in all, we get about what we expected, right?
Thorns.
Oh, good. All right. We got some thorns there as well. So a lot to get to. This morning. You hear it. Probably couldn't even cover all of it in a very quick, abbreviated section here to start the program. Let's get out to the phone lines, though, and check in. Gamecock Larry, how you feeling this morning? Good to hear from you. What's going on?
Oh, well, I'm doing okay. I'm going to go home sometime today by ambulance. There's nothing I can do but take medicine, but everything is going to be all right. But I just want to tell all the nurses, too many to name, at Lexington Medical Center on the 4th and 9th floor. Tell all the nurses when you get here, little Gamecock Larry going to be leaving today, but I'll be all right. And I love all y'all. You give me great, I could ask for anything better. But I'm going to tell you, I believe he's going to name Mike Schuler for the interim offensive coordinator for the bowl game. We're going to be okay. But I just want to tell all Gamecock Nation and the Tigers to keep me in your prayers, and everything is going to be all right. And I told the lady on the food line when I called in yesterday that we was going to put up another 20-plus point win over a top 10 team. Love y'all. Talk to you later. Go Gamecocks. And I don't think, I'll be honest with you, I don't think Clemson, I don't think Indiana, I don't think SMU should be in the college playoffs. But that's okay. We go. Be okay. Go Gamecocks. Love all y'all.
Love you too, buddy.
See you later.
Good to hear from you. Hang in there. Glad you're going home. So good to hear from you, buddy. 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in. Let's get back to the phone lines. Joe wants to weigh in this morning. Joe, how you doing? What's on your mind?
I'm good, fellas. Good morning, guys. I didn't like watching that SMU game, but it is what it is. I have a question for you and Preston this morning. All right, so after the season began, and that loss that we had to Alabama, it looked like, the guys were deflated. You heard teammates talk about, how they hated losing and, they didn't like the feeling of it. We also saw in the field togetherness that they kept within amongst each other on the team. They were always celebrating for each other. Everybody was happy for each other. Throughout the year, we saw that. We saw a team that grew together and loved each other. Now, Preston, my question is to you. I remember in the summertime when they were going to these camps together and they were all spending time together, man, you were like, man, ain't anybody got time for that. If they ain't gonna be together without this such and such situation, they ain't gonna be together, man. My question is, Preston, do you think that togetherness over the summertime had a lot to do with how they performed this year throughout the season?
Yeah, it very well possibly could. And it's one of those things. That's why as a coach you have to do it, because the players may not want to do it, but you see the benefits at the end. So yeah, it very well could have had something. But you're right, that is something that was palpable across the screen. You could see the players wanting to play for each other.
Right. Just a question, and one more question, man. Does Jen Jitson spell her name Jen with a J or is that with a G? It's just a question. I was thinking about you guys this weekend, and I had a little name for you guys' show. If Jen names begins with a J, it would be the PB and J show for me in the morning.
Loving that.
That was it.
Great for Strawberry.
Hey, you guys have a great day, man. I always love listening to you guys, man. Be good.
What would you prefer, grape or strawberry?
That's a tough one, but I kind of think grape.
Oh.
It's been sitting in front of our face this whole time. Great job, Joe.
Seriously, our new marketing director, Joe.
I don't know how we didn't get that. I'm a traditionalist, but I can go either way with this one. I can go either way with that one.
Put strawberry on a biscuit yesterday.
And actually, strawberry on a biscuit makes more sense than grape to me. Like so, and then if you want to get sassy, get a little apple butter or some raspberry in there.
Done it before.
Get sassy. Okay.
Done it before.
All right, there. So quite the opening segment, tells you how much we got to get to.
I don't know how we never got that before.
I feel like that happened once.
Has that happened?
I feel like we did have that one time.
That's right there, though. Appreciate that, Joe.
Yep. All right. Good to hear from Gamecock Larry this morning. Glad he's going home. Good to hear from Joe this morning. If you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100. That's how you can join us. You're listening to the early game, or PB&J. Speaking of that jelly, I bought me some Southern-style biscuits from Old Timey Meat Market for breakfast this week. Yep, yesterday put some strawberry jam on one of them. Absolutely delicious. We also picked up, how about this, Preston? Bacon pimento cheese. Have you heard of bacon pimento cheese? Because we picked up a pound, big old bag of hamburger meat from Old Timey Meat Market over the weekend, made our own hamburgers, and I put a little bit of bacon pimento cheese that I got from Old Timey Meat Market. You can go visit one of their 3 locations and find all these great items: steaks, pork, chicken, seafood, even exotic food such as alligator tail. Let me tell you, if you go visit one of the 3 locations, South Congaree, St. Andrews Road, or the Lexington store, you are guaranteed to find a non-grocery store buying experience where the butcher wants to get to know you, talk about their products, talk about their cuts of meat, and then give you the absolute best prices. So again, South Congaree, St. Andrews Road in Irmo, or where you're guaranteed to find me, the Lexington store. Stop by Old Timey Meat Market today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
And this morning on the roads, Salem Church Road at Dreer Shoals Road, we do have a report of an accident there. Nothing else to report, but we are having some episodes of rain this morning and a high of 63. So obviously pavement's going to be wet, so be careful out there. Showers tomorrow and heavy rain on Wednesday. Today's high 63, tomorrow 69, 62 for Wednesday. But right now, some light rain and 48 across the Midlands on 107.5 The Game. Darn Skippy. It's PB&J this morning on 107.5 The Game. I have several I'll be throwing out all morning. I'm back.
Thank goodness I'm only working 2 days this week.
It's quality stuff right here, my friend.
Y'all got full control. I'll take Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off and return Monday to who knows what. Who knows what the name of the program will be when I get back next Monday. But there you go.
Oh, don't be crusty.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, dear.
Rolling.
Yeah. Jen has never been happier.
Shoot it.
Never been happier to
If
be
you
part
see
of
a
the
shot,
show.
Jen, shoot it. You got the green light. Shoot it.
Speaking real quick, we'll get to Dowell Loggins. Do you see who's in the transfer portal again? I put a tweet out about this. Your old check your birth certificate. Check his birth certificate.
No.
We've played him twice. He's on school 4. He's going to school 5.
Okay.
TJ Finley.
Oh,
He has been
throwback.
He has been at LSU.
LSU.
He's been at Auburn.
Yeah.
Can you name school number 3?
No.
Texas State.
Okay.
Can you name school number 4?
No.
Western Kentucky.
Okay.
He's in the portal again.
Is he going to go back up?
I don't know where he's going, but
TJ Finley. Yeah. Blast from the past.
a blast from the
Way
past.
past.
Way 2020. Speaking of yelling, you yell and shoot it. Yeah, Jen's over here shooting her shot on everything with our Joe's suggestion of PB and J, Preston, Bill, and Jen for the morning show name. We're not taking suggestions for the morning show name, by the way. We'll save that for the summer. 803-404-6100. Suggestions are being made now for a new offensive coordinator, Preston Thorne. Dowell Loggins moving on. Congratulations to him. I'm happy for him. There's so many things about this. Did you have Dowell Loggins getting a head coaching job before Garrett Riley? Did you have Dowell Loggins getting a head coaching job on October the 6th after the Mississippi game? Did you have Dowell Loggins getting a head coaching job December 1st after the Clemson game?
Negative.
The best way to say it is I'm shocked. I was shocked. Hey, good for him. And maybe good for South Carolina. I know we're going to do a vibe check later. Your thoughts?
I was surprised just like everybody else again, as the theory goes, a butterfly flaps its wings somewhere. You never know what the repercussions of that would be. I did not anticipate it coming to South Carolina. That's not something, if anything, the easy connection would have been, hey, this guy just got back to Columbia. He's an alum. Maybe he wants to try his hand out at it again. Maybe, if anything, if I was talking about the App State job, there was obviously another coach with a direct connection to them who I would have anticipated that being, and it wasn't. And so, this is very interesting to me as to what the calculus was for App State in making this hire. I'm very curious about this. I don't know how it's going to work out. Nobody ever knows. But I will say that if you thought the SEC was different than the NFL, Dow, you're going into a completely a more different place. Not to mention, you're going to Boone. Get ready.
They love their football. You're at least going. No offense, Charlotte hiring a new coach, I believe yesterday as well. I don't know if it became official or not. I know Saturday night was when it was announced that Charlotte, but
he wasn't even dry from the Gatorade bath from the MAC game. He
was signing his contract while they were.
Like, hold on, my ink's getting wet here. Hold on a second. Don't Gatorade bath yet.
But it's Charlotte. They're trying to figure out whether they're really into football or not. App State, they're into football. This is going to be scrutinized. They have a message board on 24/7 Sports. It went about as you would expect with people like, huh? Did we really fire Sean Clark for this? A couple people on there were kind of like, all right, well, I guess we got to support him and let's see what he can do. There was the typical few narratives, which is true. Look at what he did with their quarterback this past year. Look that he averaged over 400 yards and averaged 31 points. And then there were people like, this is very underwhelming. I'm with you. It's again, great for him. I don't want it to sound like sour grapes on this. I do think it's going to be interesting to see what direction South Carolina now goes. Obviously, a lot of people are talking about Mike Shula, who was kind of the quarterback's coach and analyst. I didn't really realize the background of Mike Shula, what his coaching actual background is, what he would be kind of known for. I just knew him as the kind of the weird guy at Alabama that coached there.
He wasn't good at Alabama. Mike Shula's background, we'll get into this a lot maybe later on during the week, but Mike Shula's background, like every argument, can be parsed into he coached a Super Bowl trip for the Panthers and had an MVP season. And then the other side would say with Cam Newton.
Right.
And that's you can take that argument however you want. He was great because he had Cam Newton, or was he great because he made Cam Newton great? You figured that out, but that's sort of the crux of the Mike Shula argument.
Yeah, again, he's been the quarterback's coach. He was the quarterback's I didn't realize, just to give you his background for a second, it goes back to 1988 at Tampa Bay, where he was an offensive assistant, then a coach's assistant for the Dolphins, tight ends coach for the Bears, offensive coordinator for the Bucks, quarterback's coach for the Dolphins. Then you got that 3-year stint as Alabama head coach. Then you go back to the NFL, Jags quarterback's coach, Panthers quarterback's coach, Panthers offensive coordinator, Giants offensive coordinator and quarterback's coach, Broncos quarterback coach, and then you got he goes the Buffalo Bills senior offensive assistant.
Yeah,
then,
but see when we
so you hear
it's long. Well, he coached for a lot of places.
Journeyman status is achieved with ease on Mike Shula. But what stood out to me is, it's all specific to one position or one thing.
Right.
And I think that's kind of interesting if that is the direction Shane wants to go.
Yeah, I think that is worth breaking down because, again, I think let's all come to our senses and let's not get enamored with the NFL thing anymore. We're not going to do that. We've done that for 2 OCs in a row. Let's put the NFL thing to the side and understand that we're calling college. That being said, depending on how much influence or sway he had this year, we don't know, and that's why it's interesting to parse some things out. But yeah, going back to the App State deal with Dowell, that is going to be a tough job. I'm not saying that that's taking over Bama. I'm not saying that's what Kalen DeBoer did, but it is difficult to go into a place where people really care. They care a lot. Dowell talks a lot. I don't know when that collision course of you talking and us caring is going to meet, but he has a tremendous challenge in front of him.
It's hard. One of their better players is actually in the transfer portal now. He is a defensive end, I believe is coming off of a sophomore season. And as a guy that South Carolina is going to be looking at and paying attention to, I believe his name is Nate Johnson, if I looked correctly last night. I'll go back and get his name here in just a second. But I one question I've got, and we got to hit a break here, but one question I've got is, and I'm serious about this, did they talk to Sean Elliott, and did Sean Elliott offer a recommendation for Dowell Loggins? Because you smile, but you got to wonder if they did what you just suggested. Hey, we got an alumni. We're a bigger pro. We're more invested than Georgia State. Everything that Sean Elliott might have wanted if he wanted another head coaching job, App State would have been that. Granted, the only thing is maybe not the SEC or if he wanted to coach in the ACC. But, yeah, that's everything that he might have wanted. And you wonder if Sean Elliott was like, hey, you ought to talk to my buddy here. Just coordinated an offense essentially with him this year. I think he would be a really good suggestion for you guys. And then they talked to Dowell Loggins, and you mentioned it. Loggins talks a lot. I think he's impressive as a talker.
I do too.
And with Sean Elliott's recommendation and with Dowell Loggins being able to talk his way through an interview, I can see where App State went, oh, this is interesting. Let's give this guy a try.
That's very possible. I just didn't have this on my bingo card for who they would go after. Not saying that I was super plugged into the App State coaching search, but this one seems to have been out of left field.
We'll continue on with this. Jamie Bradford coming up in the next hour. We'll certainly talk about it. But we'll get into the college football playoff. Hey, look, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I think it worked. I'm happy with it. We'll talk about that. This is the early game.
Hey, it's Jen for CHW Cabinetry in Lexington. All the demolition we had to do in our kitchen last year due to a flood, they were great in helping us get everything settled as far as the cabinets were concerned. Got a photorealistic rendering of the finished kitchen before it was finished, and that made it so much easier to figure out everything else as far as a backsplash and countertops and floors and all the things. But we enjoyed them so much and had such a great experience when we needed to replace a cabinet in a bathroom earlier this year. Had a great experience. And once again, as we did a master bath redo, they were great with that as well. In fact, something came in and it wasn't quite right. They took care of that and getting the rest of that installed this morning. So again, thrilled with the customer service. They can help you in so many ways to get more functional in your house. I encourage you to reach out to them, chwcabinetry.com, or call them today, 803-520-6837. And be sure to tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry in Lexington, passion from inspiration to installation. I-26 westbound at after I-20. There's a report disabled vehicle could be slowing things down just a little bit. We do have a report of an accident, Salem Church Road at Dreer Shoals Road, and their fish hatchery around I-77. The lights are blinking caution only, so proceed through that intersection carefully if you would. That rain in the forecast today and a high of 63. Showers tomorrow, 69 for the high. And 62 on Wednesday with some heavy rain before it kind of cools down a little bit. But we get some sunshine back on Thursday, but a high of only 53. Currently a little bit of rain and 48 on 107.5 The Game. Don't be a goober. Listen to the PB&J. That's it. Don't be a goober. Listen to PB&J on 107.5 The Game. Gotcha.
You got to explain that one a little bit to me, Goober.
Goober grape.
Okay. Is that a brand?
They mix the peanut butter and the jelly together.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Don't be crunchy.
Oh, good Lord.
Shoot it.
Oh, the co-pilot says, why do Cheez-It crackers have holes? The center Docker hole is one of the key design features that makes it instantly recognizable as a Cheez-It cracker. It also helps release air and moisture as the crackers bake. We're going down a path.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Huh.
I didn't know that. Makes sense.
We got plenty of time to get to that. Let's bookmark that because
I think that's worth a conversation.
yes, that's worth a full that's worth a full acknowledgement.
Co-pilot, we hold you to bringing that one back up.
Thank you, co-pilot.
Another text weighs in. Got the brand of jelly. What about the type of peanut butter? Smooth, creamy, crunchy.
Oh, I was getting to the smooth.
Lost control on Monday morning.
As I told you, my parents were amazing. Awesome parents, wholesome home, great family. They hid the wonders of crunchy peanut butter from me as
You were
a
unaware?
child. That's the thing that I talk about on my therapist scouts. Like, why did they not expose me to this?
Didn't help you out with that, huh?
Yeah, that's the only thing that they lacked in my childhood was they never showed me the wonders of crunchy peanut butter.
Yeah.
But everybody, it can't be perfect.
They can't be.
Can't be perfect.
I mean, that was a pretty epic fail, but I think they did pretty well overall.
They did well.
Hung in there. 803-404-6100. For those of you tuning in now, like, what? Joe called earlier and was like, I figured out the name of the program, PB&J, Preston, Bill, Jen. So bear with us as we try and work through that one.
He was in a pickle though, because if it was a G, he was like,
oh yeah, he'd worked all weekend. He'd worked all weekend on that and was very concerned. Appreciate it, Joe.
Glad I could accommodate.
Yeah, 803-404-6100. To the phone lines we go. Matthew wants to weigh in on Dowell Loggins. Matthew, how you doing this morning? What's on your mind?
Good morning. Hey, I just want to say, in reference to what y'all talking about with Sean Elliott. But Sean Elliott made the statement whenever he left, he didn't want to. He was tired. He wanted to be back with his family, so he was back home in Columbia. So he didn't want to turn around and do the drive again, back coming from Appalachian State back down to Columbia to be with his family. So what y'all saying possibly, hey, he could have possibly threw, Dowell Loggins' name out there, but I don't think Sean Elliott was ever interested in the job. But that's just my opinion.
I appreciate it.
I think that's absolutely fair, and that's everything that he said. However, this maybe was the only job that may have just piqued his attention, because I'm sure at some point in his coaching career that is someplace that he would have loved to coach. So it's like the old Bear Bryant, when Mama comes calling, it's hard to turn down the allure of your alma mater, but obviously he's very happy.
It is interesting, though, because you saw guys like Kane Womack and a few others. I mean, we just saw Gus Malzahn essentially resign from Central Florida, which is still a Big 12 job, to go be an assistant, because it feels like they're like, man, there's a lot of work that goes into being a head coach these days.
It is.
I'd rather just call ball plays and be a coach and have fun at concerts and not be the head man, not be the face of the program.
Yeah, the head coach can't do what Sean was doing. The tight ends coach can do that.
Yeah. Well, and let me ask you real quick on this, and we're going to get to the playoff. Jason weighs in and says Sean Elliott for OC. And I do think that there is an element here that as long as you got Sean Elliott here with his run game concepts and what he likes to do, I guess I just look at it like he's not the offensive coordinator, but it's not going to be a drastic change. Somebody's going to have to still work with him on what the offense is going to be.
I think that's fair. I think maybe you may even limit his influence by making him the OC. I think with his position as the tight end coach, coaching that position, but having the ability to roam a little bit, have his fingerprints here and there on the team, that might be his best use of his skill set.
803-404-6100. Ron from Lake Marion weighs in and says, best thing I saw at the SEC Championship game, Beamer getting a selfie with Matthew McConaughey. I did see Hunter and Shane getting pictures taken there with Matthew McConaughey, but that works out. That game works out. Georgia wins again. Georgia gets the bye. Texas now will host Clemson. I feel like with the college football playoff, and I'm fine with everything. I don't agree with everything, but I'm fine with everything. The committee made the decision it was going to be the most deserving, not the best teams. Does that make sense? The most deserving against the best teams. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
I hear that. You're saying that they used the most deserving as the criteria of who they were going to put in?
Right. And look, let's...
It's really difficult when you get into deserving, because what does that mean? I think when you start having the deserving conversation, I think we are firmly in that conversation of deserving.
Here's where I say that, because you had Indiana, who obviously you can put their strength of schedule up against just about anybody, and they would lose. You had SMU, who you could put just about their strength of schedule up against just about anybody, and they would lose. And quite frankly, that was the first time I'd really watched SMU the other night. They're not one of the 12 best teams. They're entertaining to watch because you don't know what Kevin Jennings is going to do. Mm-hmm. At one point, I told my son, like, Kevin Jennings plays football as if the first time college football EA Sports player plays it on video. Just snap the ball to the quarterback, run backwards, and then throw the ball downfield. SMU is not one of the 12 best teams out there. You go about, as I put in a tweet, their record against SEC, the ACC competition they faced, the 8 teams combined to go 25-39, and they played 4 of the bottom 5 ACC teams this year in that conference. Now, you could also say the same for Texas. I get it. That's fine. But I guess my point on this is Indiana is in because they won all their games except one. SMU is in because in the regular season, they won all their games except one in the regular season. And then the committee had already said, we're not going to punish anybody for losing the conference championship game that's already in. I feel like they just said, all right, you're deserving because you won all but one game. So you deserve to be in. You're not the best team, but you're the most deserving.
So you're saying that those teams, those bubble teams, the first 5 out, maybe are potentially better, but because of their records throughout the course of the season?
I think Miami, Alabama, South Carolina, Mississippi, I might even take Iowa State over SMU on a neutral field.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're better teams. I'll go as far as to say it. I think they're better teams. All of those are better teams, but they did not, and apparently strength of schedule doesn't matter. I don't know if that's going to be corrected. Maybe we have an overcorrection next year.
I had an issue with them saying, well, part of Alabama, why they get in is of the teams they beat, including South Carolina. South Carolina wasn't the team they are now.
You're saying why they didn't get in?
Well, yeah, but initially when they were trying to give reasons as to why they should get in, they were saying, well, they beat South Carolina. Well, yeah, they beat South Carolina, but not the... So had they gotten in, I'd have been more angry with that because it's like, okay, that's not this team. And if you're not going to give us props for being this team now and move us up, then don't make them good or don't make them eligible by saying, well, they beat South Carolina. We were a different South Carolina then. Yeah, so they play things that makes
everybody was trying to make that same argument because there were folks in our contingent saying, obviously we beat Clemson, but then, do we get a bonus because Clemson is now the ACC champion? Do we get a bonus for that? Maybe, but to your point, I think there's going to have to be a conversation of, when you beat the teams, what was their final ranking, or were they ranked at the time? All of those things probably need to be taken into account. But to your point, Bill, this is the first year.
Yeah. Well,
we'll see if they get it better.
803-404-6100. We'll come back. We get a little vibe check on this. You're listening to Bill Gunner, President Thorne, Jen Jensen. It's the early game. 6:49 as we get you rolling here on your Monday morning. Stay dry out there. It's rainy here in the Midlands. Not sure how it is in Florence or Myrtle Beach or where you may be listening this morning, but if you're here in the Midlands, stay dry, 2 hands on the wheel, windshield wipers going, get everybody to school safely, and let's get a new week going. 803-404-6100. Let's go out to the phone lines. Andy wants to weigh in on the Texas game. Andy, how you doing this morning? What's on your mind?
Hey, is McConaughey the new Tay-Tay or Taylor Swift, like, for the Longhorns, like, you know, she is for the Kansas City Chiefs? He was on the camera more than anybody else. So I didn't, you know, it was a bit distracting. I was like, yeah, it's okay, we've seen him. That's enough, but I guess that's what people want to see.
Yeah, I don't. He's been a long fan though. Like unlike Taylor Swift, who, if Travis Kelce and her part ways, I don't think you'll see her at any more Chiefs games. McConaughey will always be there for his Longhorns.
Also, you know, the strength of schedule, that doesn't matter as much, yada, yada, yada. But that's exactly why we have the conferences, because some of the conferences would be left out, period, if they didn't do that. So, you know, that doesn't hold water with me, and I'll hang up and listen. Thanks.
Appreciate the phone call. Thoughts on that?
As far as the strength of schedule is concerned?
Yeah, unless you want to weigh in on Matthew McConaughey and Taylor Swift.
Absolutely. Of course I want to weigh in on Matthew McConaughey. But we'll have that.
Go whatever direction you want, big fella.
No, well, here's the deal. We're trying to make something new out of something old, and that's why all of these hiccups are sort of coming along. They're trying to keep the conferences happy. They're trying to keep the bowl games happy, trying to keep TV happy. They haven't done a bad job, honestly. They'll probably adjust some of these things with maybe the automatic bids for conference champions. That might be on the table as far as something might change next year. But the conferences are who they are. That's why there was such, to the caller's point, that's why there was such a power grab for in-conference realignment. They're trying to get more teams, trying to build up their conferences, but sometimes your teams are just not very good. So you can only play who you can play, and that's going to be one of the inherent inconsistencies until they eventually, not too far down the road, they get to the Super League status where everybody is sort of equal.
Yeah, again, I think there are things that need to be tweaked. I like it. I think it kept me as interested in college football late in the season. Made some games. I mean, look, you know, the South Carolina Clemson game is always going to have juice, especially when both teams are with the records that they had and top 15. But it gave it a little extra juice. It gave you a little extra reason maybe to be staying up and watching an 8 overtime game on Friday night between Georgia and Georgia Tech 2 weeks ago. You know, there was a lot of little things like that I thought kept me interested. Do I think there needs to be a few tweaks here and there? Yes. But overall, I think the system worked. I think it's fun. I think it's exciting. I'm excited to see SMU potentially get body slammed by Penn State up there in a cold, Happy Valley. I guess maybe a whiteout. I don't know if they've had. I didn't look last night to see if we have the exact time set for it. But I'm excited about all of it. There are not things that I agree with. Let me be clear about that. Again, I don't think they chose the 12 best teams. I think they chose the basically what we'll say is the 7 most deserving. You had your 5 conference champions and then 7 other teams. But Preston, to me, it worked out, and now I'm interested to see it. Look, I'm interested to see Clemson go to Austin and play Texas. I'm interested to see, again, SMU go to Penn State. That Tennessee-Ohio State game, delicious. Excited about that one. That is going to be a delicious PB&J sandwich. Great grape jelly, crunchy peanut butter. That's going to be a fantastic game. I'm excited about that.
By the way, Matthew McConaughey tweeted.
Oh, boy.
I wish I could do his accent. Hurts today. Mission continues. See you in 2 weeks.
803-404. How do you rate that Matthew McConaughey
Can't you see him saying that driving in a car by himself?
Black car in somewhere in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or in the woods with a fire kindling.
Driving back to Austin. Yeah, I can see that. You got a vibe check for us.
Vibe check. Dowell Loggins, gone. How do you feel? Too bad? So sad? Or, dude, this is rad. That's the vibe check. We lost our OC. Are you sad? Or is this rad?
Okay. Do you want to take a guess where everybody goes?
I have a feeling, but you never know. Some people were claiming for Marcus Satterfield to come back after his 2-game explosion. So you never know where the fan base is going to go. So the vibe check is Dowell Loggins is gone. Too bad, so sad. Or, dude, this is rad.
Okay. Yeah. And remember, we're doing this. You got to get out in front. We're doing this prior to naming another offensive coordinator.
Right. That's why we're doing this today.
Because a couple people have weighed in. Richard asked about Thomas Brown. Another Larry and Mullins asked about Eric Bieniemy. Mike Shula's name has obviously come up. I believe.
Just real quick, I'll give a yes, no, maybe.
What was that? Brown, yes. Bieniemy, no. Mike Shula, maybe. Okay. Jeff goes with rad. Johnny B goes sad. That's our first two right off the bat. Keep sending.
Good. That's because we're splitting the polls.
Keep sending those.
Too bad, so sad, or dude, this is rad.
We'll get to those. Jamie Bradford due up to join us in the next hour. We'll dig in a little bit deeper. South Carolina and Illinois in the Citrus Bowl. How you feeling on that, too?
We'll be back in a jiff.
Oh, good grief. Bill Gunner for the Mortgage Guru, Jacob Crowder with First Palmetto Bank. Here we are, rolling into December, heading toward 2025, and you might have started thinking about what you're going to do in 2025 with your home. Are you going to refinance? Are you thinking about moving, upgrading, downsizing? Well, the first thing you need to do is contact Jacob Crowder, the Mortgage Guru, and see what options are available for you. See what interest rates you can get and what you can lock in, because that'll tell you how much money you've got to spend. So call Jacob Crowder and First Palmetto Bank today, 803-719-1005. Again, that's 803-719-1005. I'll give you an example of what you could discover. How about the Community Reinvestment Product? Now, if you're thinking about moving into Richland County, or if you're in Richland County and want to stay there, Blythewood, Northeast, Southeast, the I-20 corridor, right now, the Community Reinvestment Product, you can get a 4.99% interest with a 5.075 APR on a 30-year fixed mortgage. For more information, call Jacob Crowder today, 803-719-1005. Tell him Bill Gunner sent you.
Salem Church Road at Dreher Shoals Road. We do have a report of an accident there, as well as Farming Creek Road at Dreher Shoals. So kind of a mess there heading up and down Dreher Shoals at this point. And still may have a traffic light malfunctioning, like my speech, Fish Hatchery around I-77. Traffic lights are flashing yellow, so allow a little extra caution and patience. 63 with some rain today, 69 with some showers tomorrow, heavy rain on Wednesday, and a high of 62. And that's when our overnight lows go back into the 30s. But right now, a little bit of rain and 48.
Off and running hour number 2 of the PB&J show, where from the rest of the morning you're going to get crunchy jokes from Jen. Look at her just smiling in there. This is like right in her wheelhouse for jokes she wants to make. We'll have to explain it a little bit to Jamie Bradford so he's not like caught off guard every time Jen makes a peanut butter and jelly joke. And if you're just tuning in and you're like, what happened? What did I miss? Because we do enjoy our inside jokes around here. Joe called in the first segment, and it occurred to him over the weekend we could be the PB&J show. Preston, Bill, Jen. He was concerned that Jen's name was going to be spelled with a G and not a J, which was going to throw him off. But turns out it's J, and it works perfectly, and now Jen's just thrilled.
I'm just having a really good time this morning.
You are. Back to work. Didn't see you for 2 days. Now you're just super happy to be here. 803-404-6100 if you want to text in this hour. We'll get to Jamie Bradford just a second here, but a couple people responding to the vibe check from Preston Thorne on Dowell Loggins leaving. Is it too bad, so sad?
Too bad, so sad? Or too bad, so sad? Or, dude, this is rad.
Texter weighs in. This is rad. Defense should continue to be the calling card. As far as South Carolina Clemson, we've moved into one of the premier rivalry week rivalries. Another texter weighed in. I feel indifferent about the Loggins departure. I think we all wanted him gone after the first half of the season, but he came on late, and he deserves some credit for the development of Lenoris. Another texter weighs in. Dude, this is rad. Says, hey, and this is a good point on Shane Beamer. Hey, we have lost 3 coaches to head coaching positions over the last year. That's a good thing. Most people wanted him gone anyway, so it's a good thing. Justin weighs in. I'm just a tad sad, but it could be rad.
I like it.
So
I like it.
I'll get to that. Coming in with us as he does each and every Monday.
I like the tad. That was a good job. Tad,
there you
sad.
go.
I like that. Good job. A+.
Jamie, we have stuff to talk about. It was a fun weekend full of entertainment. We've only mentioned once in the first hour, only once, the actual bowl matchup for South Carolina. I mentioned it right there at the very end of the hour against Illinois. It just goes to show you how much we had between playoffs and also Dowell Loggins leaving. So you get the stage for a minute. What's the first thing you would like to discuss here at 7:02 on a Monday morning?
Yeah, they're about all equally as important, I guess, or they all could spur conversation for my entire segment.
Okay, well, Jamie, I'll take the reins. You left me an opening, so here we go. Do you feel like Matthew McConaughey had too much airtime in the SEC championship game? Yes or no?
No, I'm a McConaughey guy. The more McConaughey, the better.
I'm with you.
Yeah, he's always got something fun to say or do, or just the way that he talks. You know, I'm good with him.
Yeah,
I'm good with him.
And I think really he is, and I think most women are good with it. So
yeah, that's a good point, Jen. From a marketing standpoint, yeah, he's beautiful. He's where you want to be, no doubt. Yeah. So is that it, boys?
Yeah.
Well, I'll talk to you next week.
There you go. Yeah. I'm only working 2 days this week. We're maxing it all out, right?
Do you ever work more than 2 days?
I was just going to say, really, does not differ.
Let me change what I just said. I'm coming into the studio 2 days this week. How's that? I'll be here for 2 days. I'll be here for 2 days because when you have this much fun, it's not actually work. You heard we've got Preston did a vibe check. We're asking people because I think this is so interesting, Jamie, with Dowell Loggins, because I don't know how people are going to respond. I think they're responding in the manner that I expected. David weighs in and says, "This is rad, I guess." Another texter said, "Totally rad. Blessing in disguise. Hire Kimry." But yeah, the Dowell Loggins news kind of comes out of nowhere. This is a guy that on Labor Day when we talked with you, we talked about that 23-19 victory over Old Dominion. A lot of people are down on Dowell Loggins on October 7th, that Monday morning off of the Mississippi game. People were really down on Dowell Loggins, and here we are. It is now December the 9th, and it is another Monday morning, and this time we don't have Dowell Loggins to pick on as the offensive coordinator. He gets a job at a prestigious G5 school. I mean, this isn't just, oh, man, he got, no offense to Pete Limbo, this isn't Buffalo. This isn't Murray State. This isn't Troy. This is a very good upscale G5 job that he'll be expected to have a level of dominance and be contending for the college football playoff. That's what App State will expect.
Yep, there's no doubt. I actually got a text. I think it was the middle of last week. It might have been. It was Tuesday or Wednesday, somewhere in there, from a buddy of mine who is very, 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 very tight in Boone, and he told me that. That's where I first got that bit of information, and he was like, I think we're gonna go after your OC, and I thought, really? But I never said a word about it to anybody because, Bill, about like me, you guys, we get hit on from all kinds of people with all kinds of information. You gotta stop and verify and, all that stuff. Slow your roll before you start talking about it. And before I even really had a chance to do any of that, the news came out that he was one of their dudes. So congratulations to him. And you're right. That's a great place to go. It's a great landing spot. They love their football up there. You got a little bit of money. You can recruit to that area. You're in North Carolina, and you got a whole big region to go get players from. So, we'll see what this looks like. I know he wants to stay on and coach the bowl game, but this is such a critical time right now in every football program. December has turned into the month in the calendar. And, so we'll see how he can balance it all out.
Just to back that up, Bill's statement, and obviously what Jamie was saying about App State, for those that may not know, Sean Clark got fired after the program's first losing season in 11 years.
Yeah.
And Sean was 40-24. So This is a place that takes football very seriously. And Dowell's walking into a special place, a great opportunity, but it's going to be a pressure cooker for sure.
I'll admit, Jamie, I was getting some of the same feedback you were in terms of, Loggins is on the radar. I thought it was just like, we're doing our due diligence and asking, we're expanding the search out to more than 2 or 3 people. Because I'd also heard they may track down Garrett Riley. They had watched his offense up close and in person this year when Clemson, I think it was 50-some-odd points, hung 50 on them early in the season. There were other kind of what I'd say is hot, up-and-coming young coaches that could maybe use App State as a stepping stone to a bigger job. Dowell Loggins certainly could do that, but I just figured it was like, all right, a courtesy interview. I threw out there in the opening segment, maybe they called Sean Elliott and just gauged his interest, just like, hey, are we, being that we are your school, being that you been here, are you interested? And I feel like Sean Elliott very easily could have looked and said, I'm not, and I appreciate your interest, but I tell you what, Dowell Loggins is a guy you need to talk to. That wouldn't shock me at all if we find out that went down a little bit that way.
There's no doubt. Obviously you hate to play around in hypotheticals like that, but yeah, there's no question. And that's how, as y'all well know, that's how a lot of these things come about. You can do all the research you want, these ADs and their athletics departments and their coaching searches and whoever's on the committee and whatever. And then a lot of times it's very organic like that. A guy that, look what happened with Coach Maneri. at South Carolina. I mean, Coach Tanner was calling Coach Maneri about a couple other things, and voila, he's the head baseball coach. So, yeah, it absolutely, no doubt, could have worked out. I tell you, based on the way that Sean was singing and dancing on Friday night, he ain't leaving Carolina.
We were. Preston and I have talked about it. Yeah, Sean is happy to be home. He is happy to be here. I'll come back to that later about him being there on Saturday night. And again, it was a great, absolutely phenomenal event. Kudos to those who put it together and put it on. Darius was phenomenal as always, and in a little bit more of a intimate, smaller environment was absolutely on his A game, and it was a true celebration. If you didn't go, it was a true celebration of the victory over Clemson, the season in general, and really the future of the program was neat to see Ray Tanner even get to kind of be honored there a little bit. But, Sean Elliott is happy to be home. You could tell Coach B was a little more reserved. Coach was like, I'm in the spotlight now. I can't be out here. Sean Elliott, on the other hand, was like, this is a blast. Let's have a good time.
Yeah.
So we'll get more into that. We'll get your thoughts on the college football playoff. We'll ask you kind of your opinion on what Shane Beamer does do next, what you think he ends up going down the road with here with the offensive coordinator. We'll get into a lot to get to this hour as Jamie Bradford joins us as he does each and every Monday. You're listening to PB&J, or what used to be known as the early game.
I'm loving it.
You're having a blast.
Like I said, can't figure out a way to put in Peter Pan, so I'm struggling with that a little bit. But
don't worry, you got an hour and 50 minutes.
Working on it.
You'll get there. I've got faith in you.
Way to go, Skippy.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. Let me ask you this. Do you think you have the oldest AC unit in the Midlands? Do you? Have you thought about it? Probably haven't thought about it, have you? Well, think about it for a second. And if you think you do, if you think you've got the oldest AC unit in the Midlands, you need to go over to AAA Heating and Air's website, myoldAir.com, and complete the online entry form. They got a contest right now. They are searching for the oldest heating and air unit here in the Midlands. So go over to myoldAir.com, register for every 100 entries. They will pull a winner at random. So go to myoldAir.com, complete the online entry form. Contest is for a limited time only. Only residents in the AAA Heating and Air service area are eligible to enter. You need to see the terms and rules on their website for a full list of contest rules. So go to AAA Heating and Air's website, myoldAir.com, complete the online entry form. You could win a brand new heating and air unit. That's AAA Heating and Air's My Oldest Air contest.
Highways are a little bit wet out there due to the rain, so be careful. Highway 6 at I-20, a report of an accident there. Also, I-26 eastbound, right there, mile marker 125, just before Old Sandy Run Road. Farming Creek Road at Dreer Shoals Road, there is also a report of an accident. So again, do be careful out there this morning. Rain, rounds of rain possible throughout the day. 63 for the high. Showers tomorrow up to 69. And then some heavy rain coming in for Wednesday. High of 62. Temperatures drop on Thursday, but at least we see some sunny skies, so we will definitely welcome that. Sunny and 53 on Thursday. But Wednesday night into Thursday is when we get back into those 30s in the mornings. Right now, 48. Got it in there.
Low key, I love Bruno Mars.
Me too. When he mentioned Skippy.
Yeah.
He's great. And here's the thing. I missed him when he came to Columbia.
I did too.
He was young and up and coming, and I just didn't see the potential. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, that's cool. And then should have hired him. Like maybe OC that's coming up. Like maybe you hire somebody that's just on the precipice before. You know,
get to him early.
It's too late now. Now I got to go to Vegas to see Bruno. And he was right here in Columbia.
I think it's Buster Faulkner is the hot name from Georgia Tech that everybody likes. Bruno Mars was here. Bruno Mars was here before. It was right around his Super Bowl appearance, I believe. Mm-hmm. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. It was right around. And I remember the ticket prices. It shocked me because I didn't really know who Bruno Mars was. And the ticket prices for his concert were like triple that of, and again, this was 10 years ago, 12 years ago, maybe longer than that, maybe 14 years ago. Jamie, I don't know if you remember this. His ticket prices were like triple that of, I believe, Darius Rucker and Hootie and the Blowfish. It was, again, this was 2010, 2012, somewhere in that. And I remember like, who is this Bruno Mars guy? And why is their tickets more than, now I understand. And no offense to Darius and them, but, you know, you could actually play that music all morning. I'd be happy to continue to jazz me up. 803-404-6100 if you want to text in. So, Jamie, what direction do we go here with this offensive coordinator? Mike Shula's name is going to be very prominent. You just heard Preston. Maybe there is. You go out there and you go looking for the young up and comer. What do you think here?
Well, let's first address Coach Loggins. I get everybody's opinions, and everybody's entitled to one, and I'm not necessarily saying that anything's wrong. Carolina was second in the league in scoring offense this year in SEC competition, behind Texas A&M, and ahead of Ole Miss, ahead of Texas, ahead of Alabama, ahead of Georgia, ahead of LSU. I mean, they're pretty good. That's pretty good, guys. When you look at the body of work, and the response to that is, but Lenore Sellers. Yeah, that's right. Who developed him? Did he develop himself, or am I? No? Okay. So, but Dowell Loggins, I think this is a loss for Carolina. I mean, when you have a quarterback like Lenore Sellers, who is going to, by the way, and I've confirmed this with my guy in Vegas, in January when Vegas releases their Heisman odds for next year, he will be on the list. So you have a quote-unquote Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback in South Carolina right now. And the best thing for that is to have the guy who has been developing him, or one of the guys, and the guy who's been running the offense that he has worked to learn over the last 2 years. The best thing to do is keep those guys together. But obviously, Coach Loggins needs to do what's best for him and his family. He wants to be a college head coach. He's been working towards that. So, he's going to go do what he needs to do. So the short term, that's easy. Mike Shula probably will and should call the plays. Is the long-term Mike Shula? I think there's a very good case to be made there. The question is that where Mike Shula wants to be? And I don't know that answer. But he's done, from what I've been told, an outstanding job. And if you don't trust that, that's fine. Go listen to the actual quarterbacks who've played for him, and they'll tell you real quick how valuable he's been here. The guy can call plays. He coached Cam Newton. So if anybody sees any similarities, and Sellers throws the ball better than Cam Newton did, but if anybody sees any similarities in those games, there's an easy comp right there. Now, you don't want to just hire a guy based on one player who might only be here one more year, and I understand that. But if you can hire a guy based on one player, but also who you think is going to be best for your program, and he's already in the program, then you don't really have to go that far. I'm sure Shane Beamer is going to do plenty of research if he hasn't already. He's a head coach. He knows all these things way before we know them. But I would say right now Mike Shula probably has as good of a shot as any. That doesn't mean that they won't go look in every corner and under every rock out there. But right now there's an answer on this team, and it seems to be him.
Well, and I brought this up, and I'll ask both again. Preston, you've been there, and you see how coordinators and coaches work together. And Jamie, I'll get your opinion on it. Dowell Loggins is a loss, I think. But even though he doesn't have a coordinator title, the fact that Sean Elliott is still here with his run game concepts and what he wants to do and who he's going to work with, I think that's just as important, the fact that he's here. There's part of me that doesn't feel like you're completely losing your offensive coordinator, the guy with all the plays, with all the knowledge, because, again, Sean Elliott did integrate a bunch of, I think, his concepts into the South Carolina offense this year. And I assume it all meshed perfectly, and there was never any, arguing in the offensive coordinator room about what they wanted to do or how they wanted to do it. And Preston, I'll start with you. You've seen coaches. You've been on coaching staffs where maybe one guy is, as we know, better is the run game guy, and the other is the better is the pass guy.
Well, arguing is good on a staff. There's no problem with arguing because we're going to try and get the best ideas to surface to the top. So there's no problem with that as long as we come out with a plan and an idea. And this staff, that's something that I was concerned about going into the year. And this staff seems to have figured it out, with Dowell being the top of the food chain, having final say in all of those calls. With all of that being said, you're right. You did start to see some concepts that weren't there last year. They appeared this year, whether that was from Shula or Sean Elliott. So there was those types of things that were being incorporated. I don't think you need to worry about the offense for the bowl game, as Jamie said. For the short term, I think everything's good. Long term, that's where you depend, because somebody who's coming in may not want to come in and deal with Sean Elliott's plays. So short term, I think there's no issues. Long term, we'll see what it plays. I just said that a long-winded way of just repeating what Jamie just said, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie, let me ask you this, and Preston, maybe you saw it this year too. Somebody pointed this out to me, and I don't know how you digest this and say, okay, this is important. It's my understanding Mike Shula was on the field all year, so we know Dowell was in the booth. So it was Mike Shula basically with the eye-to-eye contact, Preston, and kind of the on-field, in-game coaching with Lenore Sellers too, which I actually think is huge.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's a big deal, and he was. Mike's 59 years old, right? And so he's been around a while. But, yeah, he was down there on the field throughout the season, and you would always see him on the sidelines kind of coaching them up and doing what they needed to do from that perspective. And you're right about the bowl game. I'll add something to this too. South Carolina is a hot commodity in college football right now. They should be in the college football playoff. But that aside, they have – I just said it a minute ago. They have a quarterback who's going to be on a lot of lists to win the Heisman Trophy. And even if he isn't, he's still one of the most dynamic players in the country. Shane Beamer is going to get a boatload of resumes. He's going to get a lot of phone calls, probably both from the NFL and the collegiate level. So even if he, in his heart, says, man, this is how you want to do it. I mean, look up the road at Clemson, right? They've been plugging and playing for a while, and they continue to win. And that's where you want your program. You just plug and play and go on. even if you have that, he still has the difficult job of going through everything and saying, okay, well, this might be the right pick, and this might be the simple pick or the easy pick, however you want to word it. But boy, do I need to consider this, this, and this, because all these people are interested in our program. Are those people interested in your program for the right reasons? I don't know the answer to that. That's Shane Beamer's job to go through. But Carolina rarely is in a position like this where they have a bunch of stuff that other guys want to be a part of, and that's where the program is today.
One thing that I feel confident, it does feel like Shane Beamer has set in stone what he likes in an offense coordinator. He's not going to go out and get a zone read kind of guy. I think he's already got those concepts with Sean Elliott. I do feel like Mike Shula runs more of the offense that would be, more similar to what he wanted Marcus Satterfield to run and what he wanted Dowell Loggins to run, which is the radio, so you can't see it, but the pro style, as I put up air quotes, pro style offense, Preston.
Yeah, and that's where we get into semantics of what is a pro style offense, because a lot of back to the Cam Newton idea, many of the NFL purists didn't believe that was a pro style offense because they were running the quarterback too much, and he was doing things with this unique talent that wasn't necessarily considered a pro style offense. So if that's what we're talking about as a pro style offense, sign us up, because we have a guy that is a comp for that.
803-404-6100. We'll come back. We'll get into a little bit of the college football playoff. Get y'all's opinions. We haven't gone down that path. Still want to try and get to some bowl talk as well. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen, joined as always on a Monday morning by Jamie Bradford. It is the early game.
Preston here for our friends at Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. So if your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. If it's a cracked windshield, that's no problem. They'll come out to your location and replace it for you, usually for free, and they work directly with your insurance company to take away the headache. That's right. They'll come out to wherever you are. School, home, work, it does not matter. Absolute Glass will do the job. Now, if you're at home and you're looking to increase the value of your home, you can do that with new windows and mirrors. And Absolute Glass will take care of that for you, too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. We say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
I-20 westbound at Broad River Road, the right lane is currently blocked. Also, Farming Creek Road at Dreer Shoals Road, she says. Also, Highway 6 at I-20. I-26 eastbound before Old Sandy Run Road, that would be exit 125. Also, a report of an accident there. So, going to be needing to be a little bit mindful. Could be some standing water on the highways. Some rounds of rain today, looking for a high of 63. Showers tomorrow, 69 for the high. And on Wednesday, rain could be even heavier and a high of 62. That overnight low on Wednesday night into Thursday will be 32. And we cool down for Thursday and a high of 53 with some sunshine. Right now, 48 with rain on the early game.
.33 as we roll along here on your Monday morning. Jamie Bradford joining us as he does each and every Monday. And so we've covered a lot of the Dowell Loggins stuff. We'll continue to do that. But now let's go back to what was the big story of the week in the college football playoff. And, Jamie, we got into a little bit. Listen, do I agree with everything that occurred? No. But that's fine. I'm good with that. They weren't going to put 12 teams in there, and I was going to say, like, oh, yeah, that's great. But it worked. I think it worked. First year, I'm happy with it. Let's go with this thing. We'll continue to tweak it and figure it out, and it'll become, I think, a little more transparent as we go through. Now, we may only get this for one more year, and then we may go to 16. I think that's very likely. But, Jamie, I think that look, the whole process worked out, and I'm excited about seeing the games.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be fun to watch the competition. I mean, I think the process is a disaster. But, I mean, I love the 12-team playoff. Look how many games late in the season meant something. And certainly you had a couple of conference championship games that meant something. I'm still trying to figure out in what world Boise State should be a 3 seed. And things like that. But overall, as far as putting a, like, from an entertainment standpoint, if you don't have a dog in the fight, you don't really care. You just want to watch football. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are excited about this. Do they have the best 12 teams? No. And is it seeded appropriately? No. But more football and meaningful football in December and January certainly is better, I think, for the sport.
Jamie, when you say that it's not seeded properly, I don't think I have the brain power to really figure out what that means. So when you say that it's not when it's not seeded properly, what are some examples of what you're talking about?
I don't know what that means either, to be honest, Preston.
Okay.
because all right. So here's what I'm getting at. All right. Okay. Arizona State's on a heater, much like the Gamecocks, right? Mm-hmm. They're on a heater, but they were just last week. I mean, they were like 16th in the country, and now they're the 4 seed.
Yeah.
I mean, man, come on. You know, like the CFP rankings were out yesterday, and Clemson's the 12 seed, which correlates because there's only 12 teams in the tournament. But, you know, Boise State was, Boise State is the 3 seed. So you're sitting here telling me that after watching the season, and I know that Boise got beat by 3 points back in early September against Oregon. I get that. But if seeding is based on, what seed you've earned based on how good you are. So you're telling me that Boise should be seeded ahead of Texas or Ohio State based on what? Yeah. Based on winning the Mountain West? I mean, because they beat UNLV twice. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that the sport is going to be better in the long run when they go to 16. You can include the conference title games have to matter for the winner. I think there's a lot of people putting too much emphasis on how much they matter for the loser. Oh, you don't want to penalize the loser and this, that, and the other. Okay, maybe, but it's still part of the process to get there. That's still going to be, according to Ward Manual, quote, a data point. Did you win the game or did you lose the game, and who'd you beat or who'd you lose to? So I think the sport's going to be better. They go to 16 and they seed it appropriately. The top 8 seeds all get home games in the first round, and then go to the bowl process for the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the national championship.
Let me just say this as far as, look, the byes don't bother me. Now, because we knew that going in. You knew that the top 4 conference champions and including the group of 5, you knew that was going to get in. Because, for example, obviously, as you pointed out, Arizona State, technically in the rankings, if you go by what the rankings were yesterday, Arizona State is ranked 12th. Clemson is, as you said, the 12th seed. Clemson is ranked 16th. Clemson is still ranked behind South Carolina in the actual college football playoff rankings. Now, they're the 12th seed. But mind you, so, you know, for the sake of head-to-head matters, Clemson is still behind South Carolina. But we knew going in about the byes. I'm okay with that. It depends. What I would ask you, and this is where we can all differ, if you win your conference championship, and Preston, I'll start with you, does that automatically mean you should get a bye in this current playoff format? If you say no, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But then I think I'm asking you how much conference championships matter. And that is the one thing I think that, Jamie, you kind of just brought it up about penalizing a team in a conference championship game, so forth and so on. Because if you were to penalize, let me just bring back up my point, Preston, and Jamie, obviously you're not with us on Friday, and Preston, I think you had left. If you were going to penalize SMU and drop them out, now, mind you, let me state again for those that didn't hear in the first hour, I don't think SMU is one of the 12 best teams in college football. I would take Alabama. I would take Miami. I would take Mississippi. I would take South Carolina. I would take the team that beat them this year, BYU, who is at 17. I would take Missouri at 18. You see my point? I'd take Missouri and Illinois. That's all the way back to 20 to beat SMU. However, if you were going to penalize SMU and drop them out of the college football playoff, for losing to Clemson, if Georgia had lost, you had to do the same. They would have had 3 losses. 2 of them would have been to Mississippi and Alabama. Head-to-head, which is being held against South Carolina, Georgia would have had to be out too.
Yeah, I disagree with that a little bit because as we're discovering, look, we knew what the process was coming in. What we're seeing is the process unfold and play out. And what most people, if you've been paying attention, not all conferences are created equally. And, you know, you talk about the meat grinder of the league, and enough of this comparing the Big Ten to the SEC. There's not – come on. Let's be honest. Indiana played one team this year outside of the Ohio State game that they got their rear ends kicked in. They played one team, and it was 7-5 Michigan with a winning record. One freaking team, guys. One. Okay? So the SMU thing, the issue with that has nothing to do with them losing the conference championship. It's the process that they took to get them here. And I think Coach Saban mentioned this yesterday. He made the most sense of anybody. What are they doing ranked 8th going into that game anyways? You know, and to that point, I've been beating the drums on this for a while. Everybody glosses over it because nobody thinks deeply enough to actually want to talk about it. Start the rankings in week 3, not in week 9.
Oh, you're talking about college football playoff. College football playoff, not.
Yes. Start the rankings in week 3. Give them 2 or 3 weeks to get settled, especially in this world we live in with the portal. You don't know who your team is. And start the rankings early and let the public be able to follow this in real time throughout the season so you know who beat who lost it. Well, why is this team 11th? Well, go back to week 5. They beat this team, but it turns out that team wasn't really that good. And here's why. You can follow the process instead of working in the dark and behind the curtain for 2 months and then unveiling these rankings and then having it play out for 4 or 5 weeks, and you have to run for cover every time you want to make a drastic situation to explain it. If you start this 2 months earlier, you will be able to provide the transparency that you need to be able to accommodate the rankings that you put out every Sunday or Tuesday or whenever it is.
I think that's a great logic. You got to explain it a little bit better because I think what some people hear is started in week 3, but you mean the college football playoff. You don't mean because the AP and the college, the AP and the coaches poll are irrelevant.
Bill,
so when they show up,
those aren't
exactly.
Those aren't going
I'm with
anywhere.
you.
They're not going anywhere. And I know we're short, but I'll just 5-second answer, but not going anywhere for two reasons. One, because nobody can control them. But two, there's too much money tied to those little numbers. Going into the season, you want to see the rankings so you can promote that on TV. That isn't going anywhere. But the college football playoff can start theirs in week 3, and this will make this process a lot easier on them.
Preston?
Agreed, 100%. Amen.
Yep.
I 1,000% agree with that. But also, to finish it off, I put a premium on winning. I don't put a premium on good losses. So when I hear that conversation, it's like, yeah.
Well, and to, again,
and
I'm not.
SMU, they would have had a good loss in the Clemson championship. Too bad. So sad.
I'm with you on that.
Go home.
I'm with you on that. There need to be tweaking? Absolutely. And I think one that Jamie just brought up is a great one. I think that, look, I still think that these things will work their way out. I don't know if they'll work their way. What is going to be interesting is if we do indeed go to a 16-team playoff.
Win.
Or win.
They're
win.
going.
Yeah. When that occurs, because then at that point you go, okay, do we have to tweak a little bit more here or there? But for the first year, I'm okay with everything. I think it worked. I think it's good enough. Did South Carolina deserve to be in? Or can they beat anybody? Yes. I also feel that way about a lot of teams that are in this thing. And I really, again, will back it up. South Carolina's going to play a really good Illinois team. Next Monday, Jamie, when we meet with you, probably some of the discussion will center around opt-outs, as we'll have a better idea of what the South Carolina-Illinois game will look like. We'll come back. We'll get some final thoughts on that bowl game, our early final thoughts here less than 24 hours after learning the Gamecocks will head to Orlando, Florida to take on Illinois. We'll talk about that with Jamie. We're rolling along. It is, P, B, and J, otherwise known as the early game, joined on a Monday. Oh, dear. Yeah, joined by Jamie Bradford on a Monday morning. Bill Gunner from Mid-State Roofing, where for nearly 30 years they've been the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Now, this morning, you may have discovered a leak. Oh, and now you're thinking about your roof. Yeah, you didn't think about it over the weekend when the weather was nice, but now this morning we got rain here in the Midlands. Maybe you got some in Florence, maybe some in Myrtle Beach, maybe Aiken, Augusta, wherever you're listening this morning, and you have now discovered a leak. What are you going to do? Well, you're going to call Mid-State Roofing, and they're going to be there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You'll speak with an on-call technician or a Mid-State Roofing employee who will help protect that roof with a maintenance contract. So call today, 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. Call Mid-State Roofing. If you haven't discovered a leak, you know what? You still need to go ahead and call them. Go ahead and get that maintenance contract on that roof so that if something occurs, you are ready to have it taken care of. Call Mid-State Roofing today, 803-356-1919. Call them. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you. Bill Gunner for the Ecton Law Firm. Are tax troubles holding you down, weighing you down, causing you stress at night? Have you received one of those nasty notices from the IRS? Well, if so, it's time to call John Ecton and his team. They have a local team. It doesn't matter whether you're here in Columbia, Florence, Myrtle Beach, Aiken, Augusta, Charleston, Greenville. They have a team that is dedicated to resolving your income or business tax issues for good, but time is limited. Call them today and get a free consultation. 803-771-9800. Again, that's 803-771-9800. Nobody wants to navigate the IRS maze alone. The Ecton Law Firm is there. They understand the challenges you're facing, and they're ready to offer you the peace of mind you deserve. So it all starts by you making that phone call, getting yourself a little stress-free there. Get a free consultation. 803-771-9800. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you. You can always go to our live stream. Where's our live stream here? Oh, we got to turn one of these cameras around. Let's see if I can get Jen on camera. You can go to our live stream, the Game TV radio. Jen has never danced like she just danced in the studio. I've been working with Jen for 8 years. 8 long years. And Jen has never danced like she just danced. 21-year-old in the club Jen just reappeared in our producer studio, Jamie Bradford.
8 long. How do you think Jen feels after 8 long years?
Jen's aged.
She's like 15.
Jen's aged. Her body's broken. She's every time I turn around, she's having some kind of surgery. I've just worn her down 8 years.
Hey, this whole peanut butter jelly thing, clearly I get it. Jen's the jelly, you and Preston are our team, peanut butter. But who's the peanut and who's the butter?
No. Preston, P, Bill, B, Jen, J. That was Joe's phone call earlier.
So
peanut, no, Preston would be the peanut.
But Bill's nuts. If that's really where you're going, that's where it is.
So it is true. That is true. It's a factually true statement.
I thought Bill would be the peanut.
No, Preston.
All right.
While we're here, never thought this would come up today. I want to give a shout out to a blast from the past for many Carolina Gamecock fans. Cornerback Kevin House.
Okay.
The best peanut butter and jelly dance I've ever seen in my life. Those Florida boys, when that song comes on, it is a sight to behold. I've never seen anybody dance like Kevin House, the #1 peanut butter jelly man I've ever seen in my life. So shout out to you, House. Really great cornerback. He was the third cornerback behind Dre and Sheldon. Ended up playing in the league for a while. Very, very good. But shout out to you, Kevin House, #1 peanut butter jelly man in Gamecock history, I'm sure.
Very crazy. That's the second time in 2 weeks his name has come up. Michael Flint was telling me a couple weeks ago in practice back then when he would have to go up against House, and he was like, dude, that guy could cover.
House was nasty.
He covered you like a blanket, man.
House was nasty. He just was stuck behind two other dudes that was in the league, but they were all great.
So Kevin House was kind of like peanut butter, sticky, right on you.
There you go. Now you're starting to get it, Bill.
Yeah,
Man.
rubbing off on me this morning. There we go.
Oh, my God.
All right. Jamie, Preston and I will get into more of this in the next hour. But, Jamie, your thoughts, just big thoughts on this bowl game. Great opportunity, great bowl game. I'm good with the opponent, but your thoughts?
Yeah, love this whole thing. Went to both Citrus Bowls back when Coach Spurrier took the team down there. It's a great experience. It does seem like Carolina is going to have most of their guys. Hopefully, it stays that way. Obviously, like you mentioned, we'll talk more about it in the next couple of weeks. Illinois got a lot of respect for Coach Bielema. Justin Stepp gets to coach against his old team. There's a neat little tie-in there. They've had a nice year at 9-3. Carolina's a 10.5-point favorite, and I think that's indicative of the strength of this football team and the strength of the league. But, it's a wonderful opportunity. It's the best bowl you can be in if you're not in the playoffs, and Carolina's going to have a lot of people paying attention to them on New Year's Eve.
3 o'clock will be the kickoff time. This will be on New Year's Eve. 3 o'clock, it'll be on ABC, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. Big picture here, Jamie, the opportunity for 10 wins. That's what stands out to me about it. You're going to, folks, I'm sorry, today is December 9th. For the next 22 days, you're going to hear me say, this is the one time I'll say a bowl game matters. To get to 10 wins is huge.
For this program, there's no doubt. This is the 5th time ever that it's ever happened. But it'll be the 4th time in the last 13 years. Not bad, right? Not bad. So, for all the ups and downs that have been around here, really the tail end of Coach Spurrier's tenure until, now that Coach Beamer's taken over, you think about a quarter or a third of the last, 13 seasons, Carolina's won in double digits if they can get there with that bowl win. That's a big deal, and they'll celebrate it, and they'll be able to use that in the offseason to sign players. There's a lot of players. We just put Darren up last week. Carolina is hit on and pinged on everywhere and doing their due diligence, and it's going to be a big, wild offseason for Carolina football, hopefully in a good way.
Jamie, we always appreciate it. By the way, weird stat on this. There are just 3 bowl games, not playoff games, that feature ranked versus ranked teams. South Carolina's one of them. So you want to say marquee bowl game, BYU, Colorado, and Miami, Iowa State, the other 2. Jamie, we always appreciate it. We'll catch up next week.
Have a great week, guys. Thanks.
See you, Bubba.
Thank you. Bill Gunner for Zero-Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Let me tell you, what their patented is ZR water technology, scientifically proven to keep the carpets, rugs, tile, and upholstery all insanely clean. Now is the time to be in touch with Zero-Res and line up that cleaning. Christmas is just around the corner, and you want to make sure that everything is looking great. So when the family rolls into town, they're ready to make sure that your home looks good. Trust me, you don't judge your home probably quite as much as some of your aunts, your uncles, your relatives. They get all on you. So right now is the time. Get your home clean for Christmas with Zero-Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Contact them today. Mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, and get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. You heard that right. 803-262-4020 or book online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Again, mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, and get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. Zero-Res, spell it backwards and forwards. It's the right way to clean.
I-20 westbound between Fairfield Road and Broad River Road. So between exits 70 and 65 on I-20 westbound, we have stop-and-go traffic. So just be prepared for that. Downtown Columbia, an accident in Divine Street near Woodrow Street. Highway 1 at Highway 378 in Lexington. Also Highway 6 at I-20. We have a report of a tie-up. 2 more to let you know about: I-26 eastbound before Old Sandy Run Road and Highway 378 at Pineview. And that forecast, yep, the rain stays in the forecast. A little bit of rain this morning. It looks like midday we might get a little bit of a break before it kicks back in the afternoon. 63 for the high. Tomorrow 69 with some showers. Come Wednesday, I'm trying to get to the weekend already. Come Wednesday, heavy rain, a high of 62. Right now 48 on 107.5 The Game.
We're rolling along here, 8 a.m. on your Monday morning. Hope you're staying dry out there if you're here in the Midlands. I do not know what the weather is like in Florence or Myrtle Beach, but I know here, Preston, it's rainy.
Yes.
It's dreary. After a huge weekend, monster weekend of sports, in which, by the way, somebody won about $442,000. I don't know if you saw this. I was on Twitter yesterday. Speaking of, somebody put 3.1, they put a video up on it, Circa Sports, put $3.1 million on the Eagles to beat the Panthers straight up. I don't have that kind of money. It was not me.
Okay.
It was one of those things where they won. They won. It was like minus.
They should have won $1 for that. What do you mean? You mean the best team in the league is going to beat one of the worst teams in the league?
22-16 was the final in that game.
Get out of here.
But I saw that yesterday. They did a little video.
You get $10.
I don't know how that works. I guess you can put out publicly what someone wagered, but you can't put their name behind it. I reckon there's probably some kind of law there on that. But, yeah, I saw that yesterday morning as I was scrolling Twitter, kind of getting ready for college football playoff prep. And it's a video of the Circa Sports book, and it said that someone on Saturday had wagered $3.1 million on the Eagles to beat the Panthers straight up. I don't know how I could watch a game. I would think I'd have to take it. I couldn't watch it. I think I'd have to go to sleep. So
let me tell you something. If you got 3.1 to wager on a game, you'll be good.
Okay.
If you lose it.
You're okay?
You should be.
Yeah. Good point.
Or you'll yeah, you should be good.
But I saw that. But, yeah, huge weekend. College football playoff rankings come out. The college football conference championships, Preston, took place, and they were a lot of fun and very exciting. Anything that, besides Matthew McConaughey's excessive screen time, as we learned earlier, but anything that really stood out to you about those games?
Gunnar Stockton.
I was going to ask. We saw Gunnar Stockton. He lost his head.
He did. He did.
But looked good. Future of Georgia quarterbacks.
It looked solid. He was fine. That's the first time I've seen him play since grainy high school footage. So it was really interesting just to see this person that I guess we had a connection with years ago now, to see what his development looked like and see him to get into a big-time space and actually go in there and make some plays. I'm sure that's stoking some of the fire for the Georgia fans because Carson Beck has not been great this year. I don't think Gunnar's better than Carson, but Carson has struggled with giving the ball away to the other team a lot this year. So I think it just provides another storyline.
I think there was a text, or it might have been Richard. Somebody weighed in earlier, and somebody pointed out if Carson Beck doesn't get hurt, if Carson Beck doesn't get hurt, do they end up losing that game? Like, was that one of the things where you actually look at it like the injury actually changed the concept of that game?
That's a tough one. For those that don't know, Gunnar Stockton was a highly recruited 5-star quarterback who was connected with South Carolina when Mike Bobo was here during the COVID time. So that was something supposed to be the new face of the franchise, who was going to be the quarterback that kind of took us into this next era. And
he was supposed to be the Lenore Sellers.
Yes, and he ended up leaving with Bobo. So good riddance, I guess. But it was just interesting to see that name pop up. Also, Oscar Delp.
Yeah.
Another name that was very familiar with recruiting circles around here. I believe he came down to us in Georgia, and he went to Georgia. So it's just interesting when you see names that we connected with, because I'm not huge on recruiting, but when there's guys that's in the later stage and then you see them at other places, it's always interesting.
Let me ask you this, just because I get a text in going back to that stat I gave about there's only 3 non-playoff games. There's only 3 games that feature ranked versus ranked opponents. This is using, I'm looking at ESPN.com, and I'm looking at their bowl game list, and they're using the college football playoff. And so somebody asked about Alabama. Alabama at Michigan. Or, excuse me, it says Alabama at Michigan, but it's Alabama, Michigan. It's at Raymond James Stadium. They're the ReliaQuest Bowl. Somebody asked about Mississippi. Mississippi is playing Duke in the Gator Bowl. Antoine Wells play?
Ooh, I'll take the under.
Does Antoine Wells play?
I'll take the under.
Something to keep an eye on. But yeah, there's only 3 ranked versus ranked matchups. Number 15 South Carolina and number 20 Illinois. Number 17 BYU versus number 23 Colorado in the Alamo Bowl, and number 18 Iowa State and number 13 Miami in the it's at Camping World Stadium at the Pop-Tarts Bowl. The Pop-Tarts Bowl. Other than that, no, there's no other. Number 21 Syracuse plays Washington State. Yeah, we'll go through some of these. We'll go through this hour some of these bowl lineups. Let's real quick get you a little bit of a Gamecock whip around here on a Monday. Not as much going on, but Jen, let's give us a little highlight here.
The steal by Watkins to take it right back. Prince giving chase, and Watkins with the dunk for South Carolina.
Murray Boyles drives, kicks in the corner to Zach Davis. He'll try a 3, and that's 2 today for Zach. Ugasuk's open on the kick out, and he knocks it down. Another good find from Jamari Thomas.
There's some basketball highlights from that was the main thing going on. Obviously, we'll get to we've talked a lot of football. Let's start with the men's side of things, and those 2 highlights. Hitting the 3-pointers, Preston, and that's exactly what South Carolina was able to do. If I had to say that there is a surprise this season, Morris Ugasuk is the surprise. He is playing sound basketball. It's not flashy. He is a Lamont Paris guy. Yes, it is a set shot. It is 2 hands on the basketball, elbows out. Morris Ugasuk on Saturday, 3 of 4 from 3-point range. He just kind of does the things you need him to do. He doesn't fill the stat sheet. 9 points. He had 2 assists. He had a foul. No rebounds. But he's just kind of doing the right thing.
Well, you see his minutes climbing.
20 minutes on Saturday, yeah.
Indicative of him doing the right thing, meaning that Lamont trusts him to do the right things when he's in the game, and he'll just continue to gain minutes. And you need somebody like that. You know, you heard the highlight with Zach hitting those 2 threes. There was also another one where Zach had a open 3, and you could just see Lamont like, no, no. But Morris is growing into that position, and you need people like that on the team.
Zach Davis with 10 points on Saturday. He was 2 of 2 from 3-point range, also hit 2 of 4 from the foul line, grabbed 3 rebounds in the game. Zach Davis fills up the stat sheet, good or bad. 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 fouls, 2 assists, 3 turnovers.
I like Zach. I like Zach the way he plays. Obviously, another local product. It's just, like I said, he was 2 for 2, and the best shot was the one he didn't take. That Lamar was like, don't take it. Don't take it.
Gamecocks on Saturday, 30 total rebounds in the game. They out-rebound East Carolina, but it was 30-27 in that particular statistic, our fart statistics. The thing that stands out, Colin Murray Boyles, 10 rebounds. Nick Pringle, 10 rebounds. And I think kind of, again, analyzing this team, Nick Pringle's not going to be a scorer. If you can get 8 points from him on any given night, I think you're doing well with him. On Saturday afternoon, he gave you 8 points, and 10 rebounds. That's probably about the stat line. If you get 8 and 8 from him, I feel like you've got a good game from him.
Yeah, for sure. And just maybe convincing him that that's where he needs to be.
Right. Yeah. He only took 3 shots. You like that. He hit 4 foul shots. He hit all 4 of his free throws. 4-4. 3 shots. Let Jamari Thomas and Colin Murray-Boyles work. Colin Murray-Boyles, a double-double, 20 points, 10 rebounds, had 2 fouls, 2 assists, had himself a block. Again, a solid performance from him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the big stat of the day, if I had to pick one, 7. You want to ballpark what 7 was on Saturday?
What was that?
That was the number of assists from Jamari Thomas. 22 points, 7 assists, 3 turnovers. That's telling me not only was he knocking down a shot, 5 of 8 from three-point range, 7 of 14 from the field, but 7 assists. He was getting other people involved. He was creative. This is what you wanted Jamari Thomas to be. I've said it. I said it going into the season. The biggest thing that South Carolina lost, Meechie Johnson was big. B.J. Mack was big because of what he could do to stretch the court. Talon Cooper was a different kind of point guard. South Carolina doesn't have that, and that's what they're missing right now. But Jamari Thomas, different kind of point guard, 22 points, a lot of good shooting, 7 assists, and then 3 turnovers. So he still
fine.
But, yeah, you can live with that. So that was the men's side of things. Over to the women's side, you heard the highlight there. It's not really a highlight anymore now. Ashlyn Watkins is dunking. She's been dunking. This happens. This is an occurrence. I'm not sure we're still celebrating this, but dominant performance, 85-52 over number 9 TCU. So, top 10 match, just a ho-hum 33-point win.
Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't really that close. Watching the game, TCU came out, scored a couple points, buckets early. I believe this is the 3rd jersey that HVL, Haley Van Lith, has lost to the Gamecocks in. Louisville, LSU.
Very good point.
Now TCU. So she can't beat us. But good for her that she's not wearing those black sneakers anymore. She looks a lot better on the court. But they basically handled them. And you can see them starting to develop what is going to be the rotations. Because I know it's a luxury to be able to have 10 that you can play. But when it comes down to towards the season, SEC play, tournament time, I doubt 10 will be playing. And so you're just going to have to figure out how those minutes will get distributed amongst them.
Again, Haley Van Lith, as you pointed out, 21 points. Had a good game.
She looks so much better than what she did that stint at LSU. She looks like she's back to who she was at Louisville.
I don't really pay attention to it, but I saw some tweet that just came across my timeline. Like, I really didn't know she was at TCU. Mm-hmm. But I think like 2 or 3 weeks ago, she had a game where she had like 10 assists. And there was a tweet, it was a picture of her, but it basically was making fun of Kim Mulkey, saying that Haley Van Lith got away from Kim Mulkey and her game is growing. And I don't know enough about.
I don't know if her game is growing, but it's back to where it was. With all of that being said, it wasn't enough because we have
not even close.
We have multiples of them who can step up and put pressure on any team with one player, whether that's through the dribble with Malaysia or Tahina or Tessa. Any of them can put so much pressure on any other guards that you're going to need to have more than one that can keep up with us.
Well, if you want, again, if you want the stat that stands out, I give you the stat. It's 20 that led to 30. You want to ballpark what 20 leading to 30 is?
20 turnovers to 30 points.
20 Gamecocks forced 20 turnovers in the game off TCU. Van Lith had 5 of them. Another girl, Madison Connor, had 6 or 7. Had 7. I didn't watch enough of the game to tell you how bad that would be, but all Gamecocks had 30 points off of turnovers.
Yeah.
So you talk about a 33-point win. There's a massive difference. 30 points coming off of 20 turnovers. Again, Raven Johnson and Tina Powell with 11 each. Malaysia Fulwiley has a little bit of a breakout game. 8 of 15 from the field, 20 points for her. Again, maybe not big numbers, but not afraid to light up the stat sheet. 20 points, 1 rebound, 2 fouls, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, 1 block, 3 steals.
Yeah, Malaysia is definitely going to be – she's on the list of – no. Good shot.
The stat person, when Malaysia's in there, is like, all right, make sure the pencil is sharpened.
A lot of tick marks.
Yeah.
A lot of tick marks. But, yeah, she fills it up. But Raven's shot is starting to come along. I think with them, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but them developing and the shots coming along maybe are slower than they would like. I think it's fine because that's helping them figure out some other aspects of the game that they need to solidify.
Gamecocks 8 of 20 from three-point range. Raven Johnson 3 of 6 from there. And, of course, South Carolina going to a bowl game. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Preston's got some thorns. I'm always interested in the thorns, and I feel like you're ready to go on some rants this morning. We'll get to thorns, buds, and roses when we come back. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, and it's December, and you know what that means. Oh, by golly, it's the holly jolly season, not just around the house, but at Love Chevrolet, it is indeed the holly jolly season with year-end savings that you simply don't want to miss. Get out to Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or just take your time and go on the web. Go visit lovechevy.com. It really is the most wonderful time of the year. Go visit the 14 acres of brand new Chevys. Go visit the home of the $1,000 low price guarantee, which means you can shop other dealerships, take their deal back to the folks at Love Chevrolet, and they will top it. Again, right now you got the biggest discounts of the year and the most abundant selection they have seen in decades. Go visit Love Chevrolet, I-26 out in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or again on the web, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet, and together, let's drive.
Downtown Columbia, we have a report of a tie-up Devine Street at Woodrow Street. Also, an accident Faro at I-77. Highway 1 at Highway 378. I-20 westbound at Main Street. I-77 northbound at Decker Boulevard. And Highway 378 at Pineview Road. Going to see rain this morning. Should get a little clearing for the middle part of the day. Then the showers may return in the afternoon. 63 is where our high will be. 69 tomorrow with some showers. Some heavy rain coming in on Wednesday. Temperatures down to 62. The overnight low Wednesday night back into the 30s where we'll stay in our overnights for a couple days. And a little bit cooler on Thursday. Sunny and 53. Currently a little bit of rain out there and it's 48.
Reminder, coming up today at 3 o'clock, we have a special guest, Jay and Elijah Wills, kind of spur of the moment. But coming up today at 3 o'clock, Ray Tanner will be on with Jay and Elijah today. And this is it for him. We didn't really – we'll get into this later. Final month for him.
It's been so much happening. They dropped it in the middle of the season. We were like, we'll get there, put a pin in that, and then we started winning, and then the CFP, and now it's like,
yeah, it was the Friday of the LSU game.
Yeah.
We were like, wait, we gotta, and then the Friday before.
Then the Monday came. We was like, oh, we'll get to that on Monday. Then obviously what happened after LSU, then Alabama, and then it's like, oh hey, Ray, don't leave yet. He's trying to get out of there without saying goodbye to anybody.
January 2nd is Jeremiah Donati's first. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I may or may not, but to go back to it, we'll have to dig into it because, this is all – it's not been odd with Ray. It's not been odd, but it was like, remember, he's stepping away, but it'll be like the spring. We'll get to the spring. And then it's like, all right, well, they're going to announce a new guy, but it'll still probably be closer to April before they're – and then last Friday we learned, oh, no. January 2nd. Ray, have your stuff out of your office.
I wonder if it's the case. I would ask him, is it the case of Ray have your stuff out of the office, or Ray has his stuff out of the office already? And Ray's just been like counting. Just imagine him making tick marks on the calendar, like another day down. Does he have to count down to leave or to count down to stay? I'm interested in seeing how Ray feels about this.
He's walking out on a high note. He's leaving behind a 9-3 football team that's going to a team in the country. Men's basketball is winning. It's not attractive right now, but they're winning, and that's the name of the game, right? Like, just win.
Bill, I want to just put something here. I know we've had a lot of conversations, and you know what we like to do on this show.
Oh, sure.
But was 2024 best year ever in Gamecock athletics?
No championships. Oh, wait, yeah, there was. Yeah, I'm sorry, women's basketball. My first thought went to baseball, but yeah, so women's basketball.
I haven't done all the numbers, so I would welcome anybody to do the sourcing. I'm just putting it around.
We got some time to get to that and dig a little bit. I mean, look, volleyball was just eliminated from the NCAA tournament. Shelly Smith's team probably a little disappointed that they didn't have a longer run in the women's soccer tournament. Men's team had the best year since 2017 for Tony Annan. Unfortunately, didn't get into the NCAA tournament. We'll catch up with him in the coming weeks and get his final thoughts on the season and what he's got to do to take the next step. That's just the fall aspects and roses.
Are you trying to do like a show or something?
We don't have time. I know that you're fully invested in peanut butter and jelly jokes right now, but if you will hit the music, please.
Okay, because I do have some jokes, but I guess I'll wait.
It's time for Thorns, Buds, and Roses with Preston Thorne on the early game. 107.5 The Game.
All right, Bill. Thorns, buds, and roses. You know, my daughter watches a cartoon. It's called Crybabies. And she might as well have been watching college football because all you coaches, I'm sick of it. Stop your crying. What happened to decorum? What happened to, hey, can we go in a room and talk about this? What happened to, I have an issue, I'm going to write a strongly worded letter, but I'm not going to take to the public. Kirby, what are you doing?
Oh.
Just win your championship and go home.
Oh, Kirby.
If Greg Sankey would have bopped you, he would have been well within his rights. You don't show up the boss like that.
7 feet away, by the way. It's one thing if he's like way away.
You don't do that, Kirby. I didn't like that. Don't show up the boss man like that. You can talk to him in public, private. Hey, James Franklin, you know why this is a JV setup? Because you lost. It's a JV setup because you lost. Not only that, but James Franklin, you're 1-18 against teams who are in the top 5. There's plenty of other statistics that we can get to. Blaine, come on, man. You cannot retweet, repost everybody who says anything favorable about Ole Miss. You're out. Shane, I'm looking at you too. Relax. All you coaches, please stop crying. You make too much money. It doesn't look good on you. It's not dignified. There's a difference between sticking up for your team and crying, and what y'all are doing is crying. Buds, Planet, 16-team playoff, loading, on the way. Whenever this contract runs out, I believe it's in 2 years, they will have a 16-team playoff. This is happening because it's just been too good. As good as they thought it was going to be, as great as they hoped it would be, it's been even better. There's 5 teams that are left out. Conference championships, conversation around the country. All these things are happening, and all the corporate overlords at college football are just rubbing their hands together. More teams, more games, more commercials, more money. College football continues to grow. Roses, Bill.
Okay.
Ashlyn Watkins, she dunked. And here's the thing. She dunks so frequently that it's not as much of a thing. But I'm old enough to remember when Lisa Leslie dunked in the WNBA and it ran across SportsCenter for the whole, they still run that play. When you see Candace Parker dunking for Tennessee, that is still her signature play. And we have advanced so far in women's athletics through the athleticism and the awareness that, hey, Ashlyn can dunk. And you know what? When she got the strip, I was like, oh, she's going to dunk.
Yeah.
I knew she was going to dunk. And guess what? She dunked. And I think that is just a testament to how much the game has grown as far as the women being better and bigger, stronger athletes, the awareness around it, and how we can almost start to take these things for granted because they're just happening now. Women are dunking. I believe Ashlyn, I think I saw she's dunked every single year that she's played. And I imagine this won't be her last one of the year. So kudos to Ashlyn, kudos to the women's game. But again, there are those of us who are old enough to remember when it was a thing that if a woman can dunk, and when they did dunk, and she did it convincingly within the flow of a game. Awesome job by her. Big win by them. So Bill, those are our thorns, buds, and roses for the weekend.
Yeah, I don't want to put down the Ashlyn Watkins dunk, but it is kind of like, okay, it's good. You've been doing this. I think she won, correct me if I'm wrong, she won the high school dunk contest, right? Like, with ease.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what she does. That's your roses, buds. Can we get that laugh again, by the way?
That's billions and billions of dollars just ringing up in Ward Manuel's head or whoever else is out. It's just
TV.
Big TVs just laughing to the bank.
For those that don't know, or you're like me and you didn't pay attention anyway, it was a 4-hour show, by the way.
Are you serious?
It was a 4-hour show. I watched, and they did something yesterday that
Didn't need to be.
I don't know what there was college basketball on men's and women's. You could have easily thrown something else in there, maybe a hockey game. I don't know, but a 4-hour show. They did something that caught me slightly off guard because they've been good about, hey, let's start the show and let's not make you wait and let's get right to it. They didn't do that.
This is the big one.
They went through a one segment, as we have segments, so we know about segments and how things go. They gave us a full 15-minute segment without. Then they got into it, and then what they did that was really wild is they made sure the very last team announced was that 12 seed, SMU or Alabama. They just flat skipped over to get to where they needed to go yesterday. 4-hour show. I caught the first one. But real quick, first game will be Friday night, December 20th, so not this week, but next week. Indiana at Notre Dame will be the Friday night game. Then you've got SMU Penn State at noon on Saturday the 21st, Clemson, Texas at 4, and Tennessee, Ohio State will be the night game. We'll come back. We'll get more into that and look around. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for the Men's Clinic. Dr. Dan Bucknight right there off of St. Andrews Road over in Irmo. Guys, as we age, I implore you, do not just shrug off your health. If you've had some issues lately, you're not recovering from workouts like you used to, you're losing hair and you're not accustomed to it, maybe you got some brain fog, you're not remembering things quite like you used to. Well, it's not something to just chalk up to aging and just say, well, it happens. That's not necessarily true. You need to go speak with Dr. Dan Bucknight. Look, Dr. Dan understands there's nothing generic about you, so why are you settling for general medical care? At the Men's Clinic, they believe that all men deserve to live their best life. And to do that, you need to talk about your health issues. And you can do that in a safe, comfortable environment with Dr. Dan Bucknight, because it might be something that's specific to you and not something that is generic for all men. So don't shrug off your health issues. Go see the Men's Clinic. For more information, visit them on the web, themensclinicsc.com. Give them a phone call today, 803-875-MENS.
Some water on the highways causing a few incidences out there. Clemson Road at Hardscrabble. Also Divine at Woodrow Street. Just trying to abbreviate things. Apparently Divine near Woodrow. Farrow Road at I-77. Also Augusta Highway at Highway 378. A couple more to let you know about I-20 westbound at Clemson Road. I-77 northbound at Decker Boulevard there, exit 13. Rame Road at Clemson and Highway 378 at Pineview Road. And that rain, going to have it this morning, then it's going to clear out for a little bit, and then might see some return of the showers after lunch. High today of about 63, 69 tomorrow with showers. Heavy rain on Wednesday. High of 62. Overnight lows getting into the 30s Wednesday night. But we get sunshine on Thursday. Currently 48 on the early game.
.36 as we roll along here. We'll get back into some Dowell Loggins talk a little bit about the bowls, but let's get you a few other things here. Preston, Jen, how does 15 years, $765 million sound to y'all? You can buy all kinds of peanut butter and jelly if that is what your heart would so desire.
Well, I could do that, but did you hear the joke about peanut butter?
Oh, no. What is it?
I'm not telling you. You might spread it.
Let me remind you, I will not be in studio Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And
Joe, you did this.
Yeah. So anyway,
all that money I can spend on a lot of things.
You get the fancy peanut butter, and one you got to stir up.
You get the fancy joke book,
get the organic, homegrown. The one you got to grind in the grocery store with. You can get a bunch of that.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I can pay somebody to go do that for me.
There you go.
I get a medal today for keeping this thing somewhat on track. I know I'm not the one that always keeps it on track, but I get a little bit of a medal. 15 years is according to sources. This is what ESPN reported last night. Largest deal in professional sports history.
So in 2039.
15 years, $765 million. New York Mets and Juan Soto. I mean, is this where you're just like, look, I get it. I may never win a World Series with the Mets, and who knows what's going to happen, but it's $765. The contract also includes a $75 million signing bonus, by the way, just in case all the rest of that stuff didn't work out. But, yeah. 51 deal goes up $4 million per year, 51 million to 55 million for the remainder of the contract, meaning the total value, if he was to play the whole thing out, could exceed $800 million.
Is it this? I have not looked at the details of this contract, but this is one of those funny money deals, like Hideo. No, I mean not Hideo. Like how did I just blank on his name?
Juan Soto.
No, out in LA.
Oh, Bobby, but
MVP.
Oh, the
Oteo.
Shohei
Ohtani. How do I? Oof,
yeah.
Oof, that's not good. Anyway, is it one of these funny money contracts like that where it's extremely backloaded and they pay everything in the year 12, 13, 14, or whatever the case is? And because I mean, the last time the Mets signed huge contracts like this, it was definitely funny money with Bobby Bonilla and Enron and all of those types of stuff.
So here, let me read it to you. So the $765 million guarantee exceeds the $700 million the Dodgers gave two-way star Shohei Ohtani on a 10-year deal last winter. While 97% of Ohtani's salary will be deferred for 10 years,
right,
Soto's deal contains no deferred money, lifting the net present value of his deal well above Ohtani's.
I'm sure the rest of them major league owners are like, good for you. It's nice. Glad you could do that. We won't be doing that over here.
There's a lot to this, and we might put a pin in this one and come back. I'm just going to ask you to think. Young stars. And I guess baseball, because baseball's where you can do this, but we just saw, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum get these ridiculous contracts with the Celtics. I want you to think, and we'll come back to this maybe next week as things die down a little bit. Who will be the first billionaire? Will get the first $1 billion contract? It's coming. We're less than $250 million away from $1 billion contract.
$250 million, a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah.
Just round up.
Somebody. The Yankees, by the way, offered 16 years, $76 million.
760.
760. What did I say?
76.
Yeah. These numbers are too ridiculous for me to
Which wouldn't be a bad deal either.
Yeah.
You know, 16, 76. I'll take that also.
$760 million deal is what the Yankees offered. He said he went with the Mets offer, but just
poor Yankees.
1 year less.
I'm sure there's a bunch of Yankee fans. What's happening to the game? People have no integrity anymore. They just want to buy their teams.
It's all about the money now.
Yeah.
It's all about the money.
Yeah, get out of here, Yankee fans.
Just put a pin on that. Do a little research this week. We'll come back to it maybe next week or something. You got to go. I think you got to go young. You got to talk about. I mean, I
believe Soto's 26.
He's 26. So you probably got to think somewhere in like the person who gets this is probably 20 years old, maybe 19 now. And they're going to be a rise. So who is the next rising baseball star that? And again, I think it would be baseball. I'd have to go and see what exactly.
Tell you what it won't be. It won't be a football player. Any of you football players out there, it won't be you.
Yeah, stick to baseball. As I'm reading that, like, this is going to be legitimate. Like, this has happened. My first thought was like, well, they just are starting to get it together. Then I took myself back to the end of the third quarter of the Clemson game. And at the end of the third quarter, I was kind of like, I feel like Loggins has held them back this game. I didn't feel like through three quarters, Dowell Loggins had called the best game. I felt like he'd gone too conservative. Now, the fourth quarter, I don't know if it was Loggins. I don't know if it was just Lenore Sellers putting the team on his back. I don't know what happened. But I took myself back and thought, I wasn't really thrilled with the play calling in the Clemson game. And quite honestly, if they'd have lost that game, if I take myself back to the end of the third quarter of the Clemson game, and I'm thinking at that day, on November the 30th, I'm thinking about us doing the show on Monday, part of it is I was going to come in here and be like, I think the offensive coordinator cost him the game. And then you can say, well, he called a better fourth quarter, or you can say he called the same fourth quarter, Lenore Sellers just took over. So, Preston, to answer your question.
Let me dial up that play where Lenore almost gets sacked, and he gets escapes, and he runs for 30 yards. Let me dial that one. I don't know if you're going to be able to take that play with you to App State.
Is it just called Seller Scramble?
But it has to work like this. It has to have three guys on his back, and he escapes underneath them.
Yeah.
Then he goes for 30 yards.
Yeah, or he rolls to his left and turns out then has to go all the way back to his right, run through a couple. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Draw that
up. I think it's – I don't think Dowell Loggins is bad. I don't think it's – and part of this I honestly think is that –
Bill, cut it. Bill, is it too bad? So
hold on,
sad, or is it this?
I'm getting to. I think it's rad, but here's why. I think because when Marcus Satterfield left, I was like, well, it can't be worse. And Dowell Loggins wasn't worse. That's the thing. I think we took a step forward.
True. So you're saying,
but I also feel like it could have been better, and so I'm going with, hey, it's rad. Got a chance to continue.
You got to put the dude part in there.
Dude, it's rad.
There you go,
dude. We'll come back. We'll send in your vibe check, 803-404-6100. We'll get to that. We'll wrap up some final thoughts of the morning. It's been a lot of fun, been a lot of stuff we've had to get to.
So much.
We'll try and wrap things up here. You're listening to The Early Game. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing, where for nearly 30 years they have been the leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. And on a day like today here in the Midlands, where you got some rain out there, maybe you're discovering a leak now. Maybe you need to call Mid-State Roofing. You've noticed that the roof is leaking now. Well, if you haven't noticed, you also need to call. Don't wait until you find a leak to call Mid-State Roofing. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Mid-State Roofing is ready to help you with a maintenance contract. Whether it's your home or your business, they want to keep your operation dry and running long into the future. The phone number to reach them, 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. You can visit them on the web, midstateroofing.com. From high-rises to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Mid-State Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. So give them a phone call, 803-356-1919. If you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek.
jelly time. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Now there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Do the peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly.
You can go to our YouTube channel right now. Didn't know I was going to the club this morning. Come on, Jen, you got to come over. I don't know. Jen was behind Preston. You got to get into the shot. Look, there you go. Yeah. Go to our YouTube video. You can go back and rewatch all of our programs. You can watch us in real time. The Game TV radio took 8 years. 8 years ago.
All for this.
8 years ago, we started the program, and on the first morning, I danced. Took 8 years. Now Jen's dancing.
I still have that video to haunt you with.
Plant a seed. Plant a seed, and it will grow. Again, shout out to my guy, Kevin House, the #1 peanut butter jellier in Gamecock history. I mean, was phenomenal. Phenomenal. I believe he might have did it one year at the talent show. I believe. He was tremendous at the peanut butter and jelly dance. Those dudes from Florida, they all are very different. But peanut butter jelly is a Florida thing, and they are tremendous at it. Shout out to you, Kevin.
For those of you, Preston, Bill, and Jen. And so ever since then, Jen lit up like one of the Christmas trees that have been lit up around cities across America, and has had jokes all morning and has had music prepared. And here we are at 8:51 sending Jennifer out into the public with a ton of energy. Not coffee related, by the way. Just full of excitement.
Listen, what could get you more going than the peanut butter jelly song?
I mean, exactly. Hey, why did the band spread the peanut butter on the highway?
Oh, no. Oh, dear.
Don't know.
Good Lord.
Make the traffic jam better.
Joe,
this
is all you.
I'm here all day. Make sure you tip your waitresses.
We are a mature program that specializes. This is what's taken us to the top.
This is why we're going to get that #1 seed this year. No more of us getting...
It's all recorded.
No more of us getting left out of the #1. We will get the #1 seed this year.
I was in August. Do we get, as we start to wrap up 2024. I'm not even going to give the phone number because at this point, I'm probably not going to read what you're sending. We're too inundated with peanut butter and jelly stuff. I'm in tomorrow. I'm out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Preston will have Tyler in. Tyler needs to come prepared. Elijah will be here Friday. Real quick, Friday show will be almost dedicated entirely to you and the Somerville Green Wave, who will take on old Tom Knotts and Dutch Fork.
Can't wait. We've made it back to the spot where we rightfully claim our throne as the premier program in the state of South Carolina in 5A Division I football. Can't wait.
Saw yesterday on the news, Dorchester County making Friday a e-learning day because the game is played. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I don't know who makes these decisions. 2 o'clock on Friday down in Orangeburg.
Lame.
Yeah.
That's
State,
not cool.
Not for that game, too.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be for anybody.
Not for anybody. We got to figure out a way to get that done. But, yes, in Somerville, it just means more.
Yeah.
State championship game, we'll figure out the learning later. We got things that you need to do.
So, yeah, your boys, will you attempt to get down there and stand on the sideline like Matthew McConaughey?
I think I'm gonna make my way down to the Berg for sure.
Okay,
for sure. We haven't been here many times since 2007. When there was a wide receiver name. I think you might have heard of him. I think his name was AJ Green. Might have heard of him.
Heard of him.
Reed McCullough.
Oh, is that a Reed McCullum year?
He was the quarterback that year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah. Needless to say, it's been a while.
That'll be the 5A D1 championship. 5A D2 championship will take place on Friday night. This is where it should be, Friday night, 6 p.m. Local team, Irmo, A.J. Brand, Virginia Tech commitment and signee, takes on Northwestern in that game in particular. That'll be the game for the 5A D2. 4A will be, as I try and look them up very quickly here, 4A Cutter Wood Cutter Woods and West Side in South Florence. We'll get all of this throughout the week. I can also speak because my Barnwell buddies, Brian Flanagan, Joel Sanders, Flash Flanagan, yeah.
Henry Taylor, I see you.
Barnwell, 2 p.m. coming up on Thursday against Clinton. We'll get you all the information.
Clinton. Are you going to start the new year dealing with the same old joint pain? Not being able to take walks? Well, imagine a new year without those achy joints and no more pain pills. Take action now to get the pain relief you deserve and call QC Kinetics for lasting relief. QC Kinetics' local medical professionals are waiting for you, and their advanced protocols and regenerative medicine have helped tens of thousands of people. So imagine a new year without those achy joints and no more steroid shots. This is the future of medicine. If you've been told that surgery is your best or only option, you deserve a second opinion. Find out if all-natural regenerative medicine is right for you. Call QC Kinetics at 803-281-6860. The consultation is free, and you can use HSA and FSA dollars. Live your best life in 2025. Call QC Kinetics at 803-281-6860.